Hey guys, Willie Griffin Point Acres. We are going to do a 3,000 mile review of the Yokohama Geolander G015s on our 2015 Subaru. Before we get into all the details of what we've seen in this tire on an all-wheel drive vehicle with the prowess of a Subaru, we are going to be putting on a 23.0 rooftop tent on our Tundra, as well as we are looking at a 285 7518 Yokohama Geolander G015s on that rig as well, because of what we saw here on this car. A couple questions in the last video: are you running an LT or a P metric? Obviously we run a P metric on the Subaru because Yokohama does not make an LT in this tire size. Would I consider it? Yes. Couple differences that I've seen so far between a P and an LT is just really, for the most part, the tread design's the same except for the shoulder lugs, which end up being a more of a square, sharper toothed lug on the side, and that really gives it a little bit more traction in a light truck application. That doesn't mean that the side lugs on this are any less, so to speak. It's just in the passenger tire. Obviously when you go to the LT, you're going to 10 ply. But let's jump into why we feel the G015s are amazing in snow on a Subaru application, and some of the features we've kind of noticed. Right off the bat, snow question. I am floored with the snow traction. These are 3-peak certified, from deep snow all the way up to 12 inches. Obviously, we'll put the Subaru in X mode, and it just crawls out of most everything. Is there limitations? Yeah, it's a Subaru. It's not an SUV. It doesn't have ground clearance, so at times you are going to plow. But in terms of the traction of the tire, I am really, really impressed. Both start and stop, but also lateral. When we're going around cornering or anything like that, the tire just hugs the road. It just grips. It has great traction. What I've noticed too is the compound is unique. It's soft, not as soft as a true snow tire, but however has this ridiculous 65,000 mile warranty. Again, take that with a grain of salt depending on driving behavior, that it can be that soft and have that type of mileage. One of the other things that we noticed is that when we were driving on some dirt roads up outside of Rangeley, we found that this tire compound is extremely sticky, and it was just grabbing rocks and throwing them. I don't mind a tire grabbing rocks. It's telling me the characteristics of a tire when it does that, and I'm very happy with it. We noticed in wet driving, wet roads, just hugs, grips, and you can feel it. You really can feel it in these tires. I ran a pair of not very high-end snow tires on a Subaru, like a 2003 Subaru that I had. I had snow tires and I had them studded. Couple things in terms of comparison to that, I like these better. The studs were great on ice. They were good in snow. Could I still spin them in snow? Yes, you can spin a snow tire anywhere you want. But what I noticed that for Subaru owners, that if you run a studded snow tire, is that you are putting a massive amount of stress on your components. Everything from the tire back into your suspension, back into your drive. I had issues all over the place because I felt that studded snow tire just put too much strain on an already aggressive all-wheel drive system. It didn't need it. You do not need a studded snow tire in a Subaru for you to have performance. If you live in an extremely icy area, fine, put them on, your choice. But you need to pay attention to your driving style. I also think that with these Geolanders, I'm feeling more comfort to the point where at times I'm taking this car when I have to travel into the mountains and I know there's snow coming. There could be 1 to 3, whatever it is. I'm taking the Subaru because of the tires that are on this car. I'm really, really impressed. Sorry for the slight rattle if you can hear it. That we have a heat shield we have to have tightened up. Also, wear. Haven't really seen much wear at all. I've not put a tire depth gauge on them, but just looking at the tire and knowing what I felt when I felt the tread depth, not much wear at all. It's almost 3,000 miles on it. Couple other things that we noticed with this tire is that in terms of talking about noise, people talk about noise all the time. I have a hard time talking about noise when you're talking about an AT. If you're buying an AT, why are we talking about noise? If you're talking about a mutter, let's talk about noise. Let's talk about how much noise there is inside the cab and the drone that tends to happen and the comparison between mutters at that end. But if you have an AT tire and you're worrying about noise, I just can't have that conversation. It just doesn't make sense to me. The noise, it sounds like a tire that's ready to go kick some tail and get after it in any weather. Couple things that I have heard that I want to put a misnomer to, and I kind of made in the comments. This is a sleeper AT. When you're looking at, again, the bigger brands, the more aggressive AT looks that are out there, again, love them all. Great job, those companies. But this tire is a sleeper. You're going to have similar, if not better, traction in certain scenarios, and it doesn't look like it doesn't look that way. That's intriguing to me, and it plays a little bit of dissonance in any off-roader, any overlander's head. The fact that you go, well, if it doesn't look nasty, then it probably doesn't perform. Wrong. It doesn't have to look nasty. It doesn't have to always look good, okay, to perform the way you want it. And that leads us into why we're going to be putting on the 285/75/18 on our Tundra. That's a 35 inch tire. It probably runs a 34.8, 34.6, you know, when it's really measured out, which makes it the 35. But what we're going to really like is that it's as narrow, like it's like a 10th difference between our current 275/70/18s. So it's going to be the same width, but it's going to be almost an inch and a quarter, inch and a half taller, which is going to give us a little bit different traction when we air down. It's also going to give us an increased sidewall when we do air down for that little bit more cushion, that first line of defense against bumps, terrain, all those things that happen when we are going to be in the backcountry. The other thing that I would say about these Geolanders is that if I were to put it on like an LP lift on this car, I would be buying the larger Yokohama. I just would, for sure. And to touch on the noise, if you're going to put on like an LP lift, if you're going to run the Subaru and you are an AT person and you are worried about noise, I wouldn't be putting on anything else but this tire. If you start running those other companies out there, and again, they're all amazing, huge history in some of those more aggressive AT tires out there. You know the names. It's not about bashing those companies. This tire is the only choice for you. You're going to get superior road manners. You're going to get unbelievable traction in every condition. You're going to get great mileage, and you are not going to hear these tires as much as you would some of those other more aggressive, gnarlier looking tires that are out there. So all in all, 3,000 mile review. Could not be happier with this tire. Impressed with compound, the tread design, the 3-peak certification is legit, the noise is nothing, and I would highly recommend it, 5 stars, to get this tire on specifically all-wheel drive Subarus, all-wheel drive applications. And if you do run an overland rig and you're looking for an AT versus a hybrid or a mutter, that LT version, I cannot wait to get on our Tundra and look at what it can do. Hope this answers and gives people some information about this tire, and kind of helps you if you want to purchase it or help guide you in your decision. We can't wait to start posting more videos about our tires, our gear, everything we got going, as well as really share our story as our family adventures into the overland world. Be well, stay safe, go far.